is my last drawer to sand. And then I can maybe get into organizing here. But first thing I do is just kind of do the bottom. I've done it. I've gone over it once, but I need to do it again. I just want to take all the kind of fuzzies off. Over time it would wear off, but I'll get a head start this way. This is 150 paper, by the way. Pretty well used by now. That little glue removal here. Okay. And she goes. Boy, that slides so much better. And then this one's the old air piston fit one. I'm gonna put some wax on the bottom. I'm not gonna put any finish on it. I think I'll just put some wax on the bottom of the drawers. That'll help them ride better. The bottom and maybe along these edges. At any rate, that's it. Now the fun part, the dividers. All right, here's drawer number 1. And I've made a list of bolts that I'm going to put in this drawer along with the next one. I shouldn't say bolts, screws. Starting with this, a 4x1/2, then going to a 6x3/4, and then right on down the line. So this is what I'm envisioning here, is that the first 2 cross pieces will be subdivided because these are such small screws. They'll easily fit in that area. So that's 1, 2, and then on back 3, 4, 5 divisions. And then in the next drawer will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'll work out perfectly. Now I could measure this and use my ruler here and say, well, that's about 4 7/8. Or I could take my kerf maker and use it as a story stick and find out that that's my exact length that I need right there. So I'll cut, and that's a little strong. You can see that that's all right. I'm gonna go with that. Back here it's right on the money. Here it's a little snug, and then out near the front it gets a little it gets perfect again. So these sides might have a little bow to them. So I'll cut 5 this way and then 1 this way, I think, to make my subdividing. Okay, I like that. That's they're not perfectly spaced, but I'm going to work on that right now. So take the 4 dividers, stack them here, get this dimension, divide it by 5. This is going to be, oh, that's nice. Oh, it's 10 inches right on the nose. I'm going to call it 10. So I need 2-inch dividers. Perfect. These just slide in. So I don't really need those back there, but that's my dimension. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 openings. Subdivide this one here, and then we're good to go. My plan is to just put glue on the bottom. Okay, that looks good. This dimension here is 4 inches plus the thickness of this divider. So I'll get that set up. Using my digital caliper, I found center, scribed the line with the caliper, and then filled it in with pencil. Did that on both pieces. And what I'll do is take my blade and just go a hair off center, flip it, and make 2 cuts. Do the same thing here. That'll keep me in the middle, and then I'll just sneak up on the width of cut so that they go together nicely. Nice fit. All right, with the zero clearance piece behind it, that'll eliminate tear out. I can run it, flip it, and then with my micro adjuster here, I'll be able to hopefully dial in the width. So let's give this a run and see what happens here. Beautiful. I mean, the one is a little loose. You can just barely see daylight, but the other one's a nice fit. So that takes all the slop out of it, and they're perfectly centered. Let's see how it fits in the drawer. Fits perfectly, except I thought I forgot about my my pull, so I've got to accommodate for that. I think what I can do there is maybe take the drill press setting I have still set up, and notch this up this way and see how that affects that pull. So in essence, creating a curve like this, up like that. Now I use this as my reference edge, so I know this is going to be a little bit lower because this is not as thick or as tall as the sides. So let's just see what happens here. I think I like that. So you can see it's just a little bit below. I'm going to throw it in the cabinet and see how it pulls, I guess. It works. It's become a little finger pull. By that I mean using your little finger. I mean, I still can get in here. That'll be okay. So before I glue these in, I'm gonna hit all these edges up here. Much easier to do that now. The bottom ones obviously I can leave square, but these top ones, once they're in here, they're going to be tough to get to. So I'll sand these all and glue the bottoms in there. Drawer number 1 will be done. I've done quite a few of these. It's a pretty smooth and easy process. I'll just want to show you one time here. Get some stuff out of the way. So over here is in my next drawer. I do these 2 at a time. 2-inch spacer. A little glue on the bottom. In she goes. Press that down. Spacer, and the spacers have those notches so they don't get glued in. So some glue relief cut with these notches here. And these have been sanded on the top. Now I'm going to find out down the road here that I'm not going to want all these divided by 5. I think I might want some 2s and 3s. And even just some wide open drawers. But I want to get through I've gotten through all my screws, and I'm working, these I think are going to be nuts and bolts. This one's a little bit loose, I don't know why. Well, anyway, that's close enough. Put a caul on top. One clamp there. What I mean by one clamp is just one notch. Okay. That pushes them down nice and tight. Gives it some rigidity. I'm not putting any glue in here. I talked about pinning them, and I don't know that that's even going to be necessary. The glue holds them pretty solid. And that's it. I'll just let these sit for 20 minutes or so. Then I can take them out of the clamps and start filling them up. Alright, I'd like to show you the progress so far, and then I'm going to call it good. I'll just go through this and get it organized the way I want. But what I've done so far is wax the bottoms on both the drawer and the cabinet, and that works out really well. Got my screws organized, starting with, you know, obviously small ones up through 8s. So these are 4s and 6s. And then that just continues on to the various lengths. So these are screws. Still some screws here yet. These are miscellaneous screws that sheet metal and some brass screws. It's some brads. You kind of get to that point where you got stuff that really doesn't qualify as anything. This has basically become kind of a little junk drawer with some small washers, big washers, large nuts. These tubes contain screws with legs for sheetrock. This drawer is empty, and then I get into nuts and bolts. So what I'm planning on doing here is 1/4 20. I got to get some Nylox washers and lock washers, then my different size bolts. I've got 2 size bolts back here because I didn't want to start another drawer. So that's my 1/4 inch, 5/16, same thing. Got to get some some Nylox. And one thing I found out that when you pull these out, these things are heavy. It's good to have your other hand underneath there. I've got 3/8 nuts. I don't know why I have so many, but I only have 1 Nylock. And then on up the ladder with bolts. But I've got another drawer for 3/8 because I've got sizes of bolts I didn't realize I had. These are can crusher bolts. So you got to put them somewhere. At any rate, that's where I'm at. And I'm working my way down. The one thing I will show you here is that these large drawers, or mid drawers I should say, work out pretty well for sorting stuff. So these are bolts that I don't really have classified yet. Some 1/2 inch, some 5/16 carriage bolts, and I'm just you're able to see them and pick them out and put them where they belong. Bushings, I want to get those separated out and into a separate drawer so I can see what I have there. This one's got to come out of there. At any rate, these plastic thumb screws that I have, so kind of gets it into a place where you can see it without it being all over the floor. And you know, like here's a stray 5/16 nut. These washers got to get put back where they belong. At any rate, that's what's going on. Then once I get here, I guess maybe I will come back and revisit this. I've got some foam coming, some tool foam, they call it, and I'll be able to drill holes into it and stack my router bits in one of these drawers. I guess maybe I'll show you that. So far so good. It's kind of been a good thing, kind of like tuning up your table saw, taking it apart. I'm able to see what I really have tucked into these cabinet drawers, which things were quite a mess, but now getting them out, separated, organized is really going to help down the road. I'll be able to come in here and maybe still have to plot around with the drawers in and out trying to find what I want, but at least I won't have to dump a drawer full of contents out to find something. They should all be separated and organized. So that's where I'm at. I guess I will come back with one little add-on video once I get that tool foam and show you what that looks like.